Hello fellow YouTubers, and especially my fellow Queenslanders. Following on from previous podcasts, the genesis of this property scandal is as a result of Brisbane's famous 1974 flood. That was 50 years ago, which was due to a cyclone and 3 weeks of relentless rain. The city of Brisbane was inundated on Australia Day, the 26th of January 1974, which caused massive damage to public infrastructure, and 16 lives were lost. These floods have occurred many times over the last 150 years, but this one was in recent memory, and those my age remember it well. Cyclone Tracy destroyed Darwin on Christmas Day, the 25th of December 74, about 11 months later. My parents owned property on the River Murray in South Australia, approximately 2,000 kilometres south of Brisbane, and that same rain event eventually flooded inland Australia and relief from drought, and cemented many fun memories like fishing for catfish, callop or redfin off of our balcony in a little village called Mannum. It was utopia. 1974 was a memorable year. In March 2004, my ex-wife and I purchased our dream property from Queensland's public trustee that was elevated, that had views over the Brisbane River at 45 Goldersley Road in Indooroopilly. The then owner, Mr. Raymond Byrne, had lost mental capacity and was in care. The property was magnificent. It boasted a 2-bedroom, 2-storey home made of brick and terracotta tile that had been constructed in about 1947. My background was in construction, and those elevated views allowed glimpses of the Brisbane River, including the Walter Taylor Steel Truss Bridge. It seemed like a fantastic opportunity. This property had a small problem though. It lacked formal access to the street. Its own driveway, a Battle Axe Drive, had been landscaped and had a brick fence installed on the street frontage. However, there was a privately owned road that ran parallel to its curb down around the property's perimeter. That land or carriageway belonged to its immediate neighbour, a body corporate, that contained approximately 11 homes. The body corporate had a right to traverse our land. It did not have a right to landscape it. Our land had no legal right of way or reciprocal right of way over the neighbouring road, even though access over that driveway was the only possible way to access our land. I now understand why the previous owner of our land, Mr. Raymond Byrne, resided in a mental institution. However, that is for you to decide. God knows I do. At the time, I was unaware of this tiny part of Indooroopilly's history. Unbeknown to me at the time of this purchase, it would change our lives forever. Looking back, I need you to imagine of being asked to complete a pure white jigsaw puzzle without any clues. I had to complete it without being asked. It was the equivalent of playing snakes and ladders with our lives. It has cost us everything, including my career. It destroyed our marriage, destroyed our businesses, sent us into bankruptcy, and I was forced to work 7 days a week, unable to watch my kids play sport on Saturdays, missing out on watching them grow up, paying lawyers huge fees, only to discover I couldn't possibly win in court, as the entire set of proceedings was rigged against us. And on top of it, I was blackbanned from the building industry for life due to Queensland's builders licensing phoenixing laws for a crime committed by a Supreme Court Justice, my own lawyers, and his cronies. Premier Palaszczuk's office is acutely aware of our suffering, but has obfuscated my complaint, refused to respond or conduct a genuine inquiry. The constant bulldust we're all fed, nobody is above the law, is just that, pure bulldust. They really believe the public are idiots, asleep at the wheel. What they don't know won't hurt them. Sigmund Freud once stated, "People are more moral than they think, and far more immoral than they can imagine." I promise the legal fraternity picked a fight with the wrong bloke, and they know that. As it happened, another neighbouring property to ours, approximately 1.5 acres of land had been landlocked by those same 1974 Brisbane floods due to an access bridge over Witten Creek being washed away. This neighbouring lot, 1.5 acres of land in the middle of the bourgeois suburb called Indooroopilly, was literally landlocked with no possible access. It was surrounded by neighbouring subdivisions. This land was a Rolls-Royce real estate gem. It was hidden from public view. The owners, a family of many siblings, couldn't trade or access the land because it was literally landlocked. You couldn't get to it. It was landlocked in every sense. The family pleaded with the Brisbane City Council to replace the bridge year after year after the 1974 flood. However, it was never put into the City Council's budget to reconstruct a bridge for one family's benefit. Sometime in the early 1980s, the previous owner of our land, Mr. Raymond Burnt, inherited approximately 2.5 acres of land, including the 2-bedroom home, from his auntie, and ultimately subdivided the land into 2 lots. The home, our property, remained on Lot 1, which Raymond Burnt lived in, whilst Lot 2, most of the land, the ownership, was transferred to his 2 sisters. The second lot was granted a legal right-of-way or easement over the original driveway into Lot 1, which was situated on the eastern boundary, which was 4 metres wide, and then at the entrance it was expanded out to 7 metres wide onto Goldersley Road. Ultimately, the property street frontage on Goldersley Road was 14 metres wide, which meant that Lot 1 owned 50%, Lot 2 owned the other 50%. Naturally, Lot 2 was a prestige property boasting elevated views over the Brisbane River, and it was marketed for sale. A lawyer, another senior member of the Illuminati, purchased the property subject to a development approval. Remember, this is 1985. He bought it subject to council approval from the Brisbane City Council for approximately $250,000. Imagine that, $250,000. And it was transferred into the lawyer's personal company in 1987. The lawyer involved accidentally admitted he was acting as a lawyer in 2010, even though publicly pretended he was only an innocent director of his own company. Apparently, it is a convenient excuse if you're corrupt. Again, rules for them and another set of rules for ordinary folk. The bar, or the standard of professionalism, is lower as a company director, as corruption doesn't exist in the Illuminati. Try using that excuse in any capacity if a lawyer sues you. I can't wait to reveal this little gem in later podcasts. I'll keep you in suspense. It's a mind-blowing story. It's amazing. I am deliberately limiting the length of these podcasts into smaller videos to pique your interest into learning the truth about the state of Queensland, the state that recently won the right to host the Olympics in 2032, and a legal fraternity that milks society with absolute secrecy. I do have endless patience though, and I hope you do too. Please invite your friends to share in Queensland's dirty little secret. And if you know any journalists here in Queensland, ask them why they won't tell my story. I decided to tell the story as I literally have nothing left to lose. And frankly, I don't fear anyone. F them all, I say. Please, remember to like every podcast so we improve its distribution, its algorithms, and please subscribe to my channel. It's very important that you do that to every video. Please sign the petition on my website, whentheftislegal.org, via the link to change.org, seeking a royal commission into the judiciary in Queensland. So to expose the Queen of Cover-Up, our Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk. And if inclined, please leave a donation to help this venture, as I need help. I need financial assistance. See you again soon, and always remember, she'll be right, mate. Never fear, Randolph is here. Say, Chun. That's for our Chinese friends here in Queensland. And thanks for listening to me.